Welcome to the canyon. You folks been on the ride before?
No.
No?
First time.
I'll tell you a little about the canyon, the horses, the owners, a little about myself as we go up through. It is said 10 to 15,000 years ago, this canyon was created. When the ice started melting, it formed an ice jam, and there ended up with 60 miles worth of water behind it. And when the ice jam let go and came crashing down through, it made what is today Wisconsin Dells, part of the Wisconsin River, in this canyon. This canyon is made out of sandstone. This sandstone is only found in 7 parts in the entire world. And we're fortunate enough to have it here in Wisconsin. The sandstone does hold a lot of moisture. So the canyon is normally 10 to 15 degrees cooler in there than what it is out here. And when we go through the canyon, there are several tight spots. So make sure you keep your arms, elbows, head, shoulders all on the inside of the wagon, because occasionally we will slide the wagon down the rocks.
Chạy trở lại rồi. Này ở công trang đó nè. Tụi mình ở đâu vậy đi?
Today we have Marvin and Mark. They're 8, 10-year-old Belgian horses. They're full brothers. They came from Ohio. This is their second season down here in the canyon. Come on, boys.
Đi kỳ ha. Đi kỳ ha. Ô tụi nó ngon đó. Ô chú cây kia đấy. Ôi đi kỳ nó ở trong đó. Wow, đi kia. Wow. Wow.
This is known as the conference room. When the Native Americans dominated this area, which is now the Ho-Chunk Nation, they would use this for their meeting spot. Oh boy. The chief would stand upon the rock, the rest of them were down here, they'd have their meeting. Whoa. Though they were having their meetings here, and then even up into the 30s, this was a dry canyon. There was no water running like it is today. In the 30s, they started this as a walk trail. There wasn't horse and wagon yet. It wasn't until 1956 a doctor purchased this canyon, and that was the first time horse and wagons had gone through here. He kept everything as natural as possible. Everything you're going to see all the way through this was man-made. Man didn't carve anything extra in for you folks to look at as attraction. We'll see one rock formation on the way up. We'll see several on the way back.
Wow, cái này.
But if people own it now, bought it in 1969. That couple has since passed away. Their son and daughter-in-law are running it. And now they have one son old enough, he's starting to manage the Canyon and Canyon Creek stables on top. They own both. They're keeping the same tradition. They're going to keep it as natural as possible. If something falls, it's going to stay in rock where it landed, unless it falls in this road, and then they have to move it for us out to get it out our way. That mess happened about 3 weeks ago. We had a bad storm. Lost that big tree. You'll see several trees crossing over top of us as we go. That's where they'll be till they're too rotten to be there and fall down on their own. Whoa. Whoa. Mark, whoa. I need to get a whip up from underneath. I think it's here. Can I get you to stand up just a minute? Thank you. If you look at this rock formation right here, follow this rock formation up and out to that point. That's a beak, a head, a left wing, and a right wing. That's our flying eagle.
Oh. Yeah.
They say if you take a picture of it with your camera, it'll look a lot better that way than it does without being on the camera.
Để nó thay đổi nó trong đồ nào.
Everybody find it? Oh. Oh.
Thay đổi trong nó là như thế.
Alrighty. Now we're going to come into the part of the canyon that's known as the Narrows. It will live right up to its name. Once we get started in the Narrows, there's no back, no turning around, there's no passing zone. So we run a light system so that way when we head into the canyon, nobody will come from the other side and we'll meet in the middle. Because if that would happen, we'd have to unhook the horses off the wagon and you folks would have to push the wagon out backwards for me. You want to turn the light on for me, man? Come on, guys.
Ồ.
Oh. Yeah, well, yeah, down there, because it took both ways. So one time's up. Yeah, it's never where we think it should be. Come on, guys. Now it's gonna get narrow in here.
So
So
what is
Oh,
that?
another.
Dad actually turned the light on the other end
Oh,
to stop them so they don't. Oh, yeah.
Tí nữa, tí nữa. Cái lấy đi xa ấy. Để em cậy. Đóng sọt rồi cái năng hả? Nhưng mà là yes.
When the water came crashing down through the canyon, it would hit hard spots in the rock, in the sandstone. And when it did, it would stop and hit a hard spot and then start to swirl like a whirlpool until it finally cut itself through and went on down through the canyon. That's this large dish shape right here. That is from the water spinning to get through. There's several little ones ahead of it that must not have took as long to come through because they're a lot smaller than this huge one. I like this one here. It's really indent. That looks like it's got a little lid on it. It's a nice bend now.
On the narrow.
Tí nữa, tí nữa.
Here. This is another one. And that's why we turn the light on. They have to wait. Yeah. We'll leave the light on for them since they're going to go right through.
Like a slip.
Nice pair.
Cái gì bắn nó. Really
Those
Giờ
are,
nó đầu tiên của nó là than nó là over here.
those are actually
Beautiful.
drawn in that color. Not much. They're pretty close. The wilderness
Trong đầu tiên xưa vậy?
canyon, if you look right up behind, you'll see the water park on top of the hill. Right
Ồ, lúc mà nó poison hả?
Yeah, it's right there on top. You totally come around it. The golf course is up here on this side. About 7 years ago, we had a bad storm. We lost 3 huge white pines. This is one of them was coming up a little ahead of us.
Don't try.
Since they want to keep the canyon as natural as possible, that's going to stay there until Mother Nature says it falls on its own. They're not going to go up and cut it down. Right now, the coon, the squirrel, and the chipmunks use it to go back and forth on. If you look off to our left, there's a huge white pine growing out of that rock. They estimate that tree to be 150 feet tall. A white pine grows roughly 1 foot a year.
Ủa, nhá, kia,
So
chắc
that
trong
tree
đồng tử hả?
should be about 150 years old. The one thing unique about those trees, the root system, and we get the other ones that went down, you'll see they don't have the best root system, but they have the unique ability. Whoa. Whoa. They have the unique ability to crawl back in those rocks and anchor that tree. And they figure that roots on that tree only go back in 14 feet, which is shorter than the length of this wagon. It's amazing. A small root like that can hold that huge.
I was just gonna say, how did you understand?
The other two trees, I'll show you the root base. I am totally astonished that any of them in this canyon state. When you look at the root base on them, they don't have a lot.
Yeah, I was looking at one back there.
Oh yeah, that's one of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's surprising they're all the way around. You know. As we come into this part of the tour, I'm going to talk about a different kind of tree, and depending on where you grew up or where you vacation, these are northern hemlock trees. These seeds got worse down here during the Ice Ages out of Canada. Their needles are a lot shorter. This is one right here. The branches come down the trunk of the tree a lot further than what it does on a white pine. The needles are small, and the other very unique thing about this, they produce the smallest pine cone of any pine cone bearing tree out there. And I didn't look on the way down this morning, and I should have. I might have an example to show you if they haven't fell off. We have very few that haven't came off this season. Oh, whoa.
Oh,
And if
wow,
you look
so
right
small.
here,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
those are fully grown. They're not going to get any bigger than that. There's one
Wow.
there too.
Yeah.
Those are totally developed. Whoa.
So small.
So it's amazing. A pine cone that small can create a big tree like one of these. Come on, guys. You golfers, right there's the golf course for the Wilderness Resort. Mother Nature helped me out on the tour. They gave me a perfect example of a white pine on this side and a hemlock on that side, so you folks can see the difference in the two trees. This is going to be our first turnaround on the tour. This part of the tour the horses don't like. So just about an hour and a half ago they came down that road. Now they're going to want to go back up. About a mile up that road is where the stables is, where they get their grain and hay. So they get here, they kind of pout. They don't want to make the day. Not to take the day off, but we're going to work today. They had yesterday off. Come on, guys. No. Come on. Marvin. These horses weigh between 18 and 2,000 pounds.
Wow.
They could pull 10 times their weight. So pulling us around on this wagon, even though we got to pull, it's not work for them. Like I said, these guys came from Ohio. An Amish couple broke them, raised them. They're full brothers. And then after they got older, they sold them and we purchased them here. So they've plowed, they've disced, they've hauled manure. They've done all the real hard work in life that a draft horse does. This is like a vacation before retirement.
Were those other ones brothers and sisters too?
This is the only known ones that I know of. There is a pair of red ones that possibly are. But these guys get their feet trimmed and brand new shoes every 6 weeks. At an average cost of $250 to do these, get their hooves done. Due to the rock and the sand in here that they walk on when they work, it wears them off pretty thin, so then we have to replace them. One of the boys of the family went to school for 2 years out in Oklahoma. He's now a very, very good farrier, so he takes care of. We have 20 head of these draft horses. One team is retired. They're 22 and 23. They don't work anymore. They just come in for grain and their hay. 2 teams are too tall to come down here, and if you've been around the Wilderness Resort on top, you may have seen a team with a red wagon. He goes around the parking lot up there just for donations to advertise down here. So the 2 tall teams work up there, and the other 7 rotate down here. They work 2, maybe 3 days in a row. They've no worked 5. They only work 7 months out of the year. They got a pretty good gig. When the ice gets too thick in the narrows, they get the rest of the winter off. Last year they did work up to the 1st of December last year. We'll see what it does this year with the weather. Yeah, now if you folks look up, you can see more of the water park as we go flying by. When we get down here and we turn left, if you folks would look off to your right, if we would have started the tour at the stables instead of where we did, and and I told you we were coming here and we are going up to the left side, which we will do, you would believe from this angle that we could put the horse and wagon back through that canyon. It really looks small from this direction. I get the boys to slow down here and mind me. Easy, boys. Easy. Easy.
Yeah, it looks so tiny.
Whoa. Whoa.
Cái đó là vừa tao cái này nó nó.
That's how small it looks from this way.
Yeah.
Are they fit to there?
That's who came out of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's what we came out of. It looks totally different from this side.
Yeah.
I was talking about the trees that went down. This is one of the other white pines.
Ồ, chỗ nào vào hả?
They figured that tree was over 100 years old, over 100 feet long, and that's the little bit of root system that actually held the tree up that whole life. It's surprising to me that it can stand as long as they can, because their roots are more like fingers, like an oak or an elm. Maple, they have a taproot that goes straight down that gives them the right. You're going to notice some wet rocks around here. You may see some dripping water due to the water consumption that the wilderness use above us. Their huge water pipes condensate and actually come down and drip through this rock to give us our running water today. Might not be quite warm enough today to make a little drip. Oh, there it is. Have you folks taken other tours to here in the Dells, the boats, the ducks, any of those?
Do
No?
you recommend those?
Are you recommending?
So, yeah. If you do, or maybe you folks do know, you know why we have a brown tint to our water here in the canyon in the Wisconsin River? Well, do any of you folks drink coffee, tea, Coke, Pepsi?
Yeah.
Okay. How about a little wine?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Draft.
Why is it no coffee drink?
Our little whiskey or bourbon, it has the same tannic acid in that's in our water that gives us water the caramel color. Come on, boy. Notice this beautiful horse coming wagon.
Bé tôi thấy đùa bé tôi lo dọn. Đó tôi nằm mê ha. Đó tôi nằm mê.
That's good. He's pretty cool, dude. Hi, Jason. Hi, Buzz.
Ba on đây bé.
But the mustache doesn't mean because he's old.
Yeah, he's not really that old, but
He's 10, right?
yeah, he's 10 too. He drove. Now the other one, they had two that looked like that. They bought a team. They brought him down here to the canyon, and that one's mate got in the narrows, and it was too tight for him. He froze up and wouldn't walk. But they had to unhook him and take him back up to the stables, and so now he just works up there because he doesn't work down here. He's one of a few that this team made it one day going through the canyon with no people. The other sorrel team I normally drive, it took them 3 days before they got used to it. They've never been in a situation like that. You know, they grew up on a farm and then come into a tight situation like that, and then the water's running all the time. They have to walk through it. Also, if you folks would look up through the tree branches, that is the wilderness skywalk up there.
You gotta walk through there.
And if you hear somebody screaming or a rattling noise, right on the other side of that is their zip line. So you may hear people going through. Mark, wait.
There's a train on there.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. These guys are union horses. I need this. They have to have break-in within 15 minutes. They've never missed a break yet.
Mày hả chị ạ? Ồ, nếu mua khổng bé à? Nếu mua cho nó bé sao? Phải
You can look when you'll have to crank your neck all the way over.
Yeah, I think nếu mua được bé sao?
You look at?